All right, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that the key, the real key to understanding AI's impact on software engineering today is hidden in an essay from almost 40 years ago? Yeah, it sounds a little nuts, right? But believe me, this one big idea from 1986 is forcing us to face some of the toughest questions we've ever had about the future of our jobs.
And this is where it all began, with this prophecy from the legendary Turing Award winner, Fred Brooks. In his famous paper, No Silver Bullet, he made this incredibly bold claim. There's no magic wand. No single piece of tech is going to come along and suddenly make building software 10 times easier. And you know what? For decades, he was right. Everything from agile to low code tried to prove him wrong and failed. But now? Well, now we have AI.
So, to really get what Brooks was saying, you have to understand his main idea, which he actually borrowed from Aristotle. He said that not all problems in software are the same. In fact, there are two totally different kinds of complexity. Okay, first up, you've got essential complexity. This is the hard stuff, the real brain work. It's figuring out what a user actually wants, designing a system's architecture, and trying to make sense of ambiguous business rules. You can't get rid of this complexity because it is the problem you're trying to solve. It's essential. And then there's this other beast, accidental complexity. This is all the junk we create for ourselves. It's fighting with a config file, trying to understand a weird API, writing the same boilerplate code for the 100th time. It has nothing to do with what to build, it's all the pain and suffering that comes with how you build it. And Brooks, back in '86, he thought we were pretty much solving this.
But this is where the story takes a really interesting turn. Turns out, Brooks had a huge blind spot. He figured accidental complexity was a problem on its way out, but in the years that followed, oh man, it came roaring back, but in a totally new and sneaky way. Just look at this timeline. After 1986, we didn't just get simpler tools. No, we built a whole mountain range of new ones. React, Docker, Kubernetes, CI/CD, you know the drill. Each one was great, it solved a real problem, but it also added a brand new layer of configuration, integration, and debugging headaches. This is what we call the secondary pileup, a giant new mountain of accidental complexity that Brooks just never saw coming.
And the cost of this pileup is just, wow. A 2023 Stack Overflow survey found that developers, on average, are spending 45 minutes, think about that, 45 minutes every single day just fighting this stuff. An hour a day just wrestling with the how instead of actually thinking about the what. It's wild.
So for years, we were just buried under all this accidental work. We kind of just accepted it as, the cost of doing business. And then everything changed. This is probably the most important idea to get your head around. AI isn't the silver bullet that Brooks said would never come. It's something else entirely. It's a nuclear bomb aimed squarely at accidental complexity. Its whole purpose is to vaporize that massive 40-year pileup of tool-related friction that's been slowing us down. So how does this bomb actually work? It's not magic. AI agents have a whole toolkit of specific strategies. Think of them as attack patterns that they use to systematically just dismantle all that accidental work. This is the tactical playbook. This is how the bomb actually works. Think about all that tedious stuff we just talked about. That's the accidental complexity. So, for example, you're stuck wrestling with some horribly documented API, right? We've all been there. An agent using the self-correct pattern, it'll just generate the code, test it, see the error, and fix its own mistake, all in a few seconds. You don't fight the API anymore, it does. Or what about a really complex, scary task like a big database migration? A plan and execute agent just lays out the entire plan from start to finish before it even writes a line of code, making sure nothing gets missed. See, these aren't just cool features. They are literal, targeted weapons for vaporizing all that tedious how that gets in our way. Okay, so the bomb goes off. Decades of accidental complexity are just wiped off the map. So everything should be faster, better, easier, right? Right? Well, the reality is way more surprising. And honestly, a lot more challenging. The aftermath was not what anyone predicted. A 2025 Pharos AI report came out, and it was a bombshell of its own. It found that developers using AI were merging nearly twice as many pull requests. Sounds incredible, right? But, and this is a huge but, the time spent reviewing those pull requests also almost doubled. And the number of bugs per developer actually went up. So the big takeaway here is that making individual developers faster didn't make the whole organization faster.
And this quote from Andrew N. just nails it. When the ability to write code is suddenly everywhere and almost free, your ability to make good decisions becomes the new bottleneck. When the how is basically solved, all the pressure, all the weight shifts to the what and the why. And that leads us to this new division of labor. It's so crucial. The AI agent takes over the how, the implementation, the syntax, the boilerplate, the debugging. So what's left for us? The human developer's role gets elevated. You're not a mechanic anymore, you're an architect. Your value isn't about writing perfect code. It's about your judgment, your vision for the architecture, and your deep, deep understanding of the user and the business.
Which brings us all the way back to the beginning. Fred Brooks was right all along. AI didn't prove him wrong. It actually validated his idea in the most dramatic way you could imagine. By clearing away all that fog of accidental complexity, it just made one thing crystal clear. The hard part, the essential complexity, was there the whole time. And now, it's pretty much all that's left.
So we're left with this one final massive question. For 40 years, our biggest challenge was how to build things well. That whole era, it's over. Now that we have the power to build almost anything we can dream of, we're faced with a much harder and much more essential problem: figuring out what's actually worth building in the first place.